Welcome to this day with Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Whomever you are, wherever you're from, whatever your faith, tradition, whomever you love, you are welcome here. My name is Aiden, and today is our bridging service, which is celebrating me, Rosy, and Hannah as we pass from youth into young adulthood. Thank you for being here today. I'd like to begin this service by acknowledging that the water, land, and shorelines here in Port Townsend are the traditional territory of the S'Klallam and Chemakum people. We honor and acknowledge our Indigenous members and neighbors and vow to help restore and sustain these homelands. As we call in this time together, let us settle our minds, calm our hearts with the ringing of our chime. I'd now like to welcome Chris and Terry Copeland, who will lead in our prelude, Hallelujah, by Leonard Cohen.
Hallelujah. did my best, it wasn't much. I couldn't feel, so I tried to touch. I've told the truth, I didn't come to fool ya. And even though it all went wrong, I'll stand before the Lord of Song with nothing on my lips but hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
Thank you, Chris and Terry. Please join me now in our chalice lighting words. They are written by Wendell Berry. We clasp the hands of those that go before us, and the hands of those who come after us. We enter the circle of each other's arms, and the larger circle of lovers, whose hands are joined in a dance, and the larger circle of all creatures passing in and out of life, who move also in dance to a music so supple and vast that no ears hear it except in fragments.
Our opening words are by Jean Olson. May you be brave enough to expose your aching woundedness and reveal your vulnerability. May you speak your deepest truths, knowing that they will change as you do. May you sing the music within you, composing your own melody, playing your song with all your heart. May you draw, paint, sculpt, and sew, showing the world your vision. May you write letters, poetry, biography, slogans, graffiti, the great novel, laying bare your words to love and hate. May you love even though your heart breaks again and again. And until the end of days, may your life be filled with possibilities and courage. Our responsive reading this morning is by Mohan Embar. Please join me. You don't like responsive reading. Responsive reading runs contrary to everything you believe as a Unitarian Universalist, because instead of formulating your own thoughts and opinions in your own unique way, you simply repeat words that I have chosen for you. Look, I can make you moo like a cow. Or bleat like a sheep. Repeat after me. I will never, ever mindlessly repeat words that someone else has chosen for me.
I will never, ever mindlessly repeat words that someone else has chosen for me.
And I will always take charge of my thoughts by formulating them in my own unique way.
Thank you for that, Hannah. Our time for all ages this morning is Gaston by Kelly Difuccio and illustrated by Christian Robinson. This service is an intergenerational service for everyone in second grade and above, which means that we're just singing out our littlest kids to their classes and their childcare. And other children will stay here to listen to me and our other youth. There's childcare available if anyone wants to leave the sanctuary at any time. We take no offense. Now I invite kids and everybody who would like to come forward to hear the story. And afterwards, please rise in body or spirit and form an arch to sing the kids back to their seats and our youngest to their classes. Our book today is Gaston. Hello? Okay. Okay, our book today is Gaston. Miss Poodle admired her. Would you like to see them again? Fifi, Fufu, Oulala, and Gaston. Perfectly precious, aren't they? Miss Poodle thought so too. The puppies grew as puppies do, and the three were no bigger than teacups. The fourth, however, continued to grow and grow until he was the size of a teapot. Miss Poodle took pride in teaching her puppies how to be proper pooches. They were taught to sip, never slobber. Good, well done, very nice. Nice try, Gaston. They were taught to yip, never yap. Yip, yip, rough. And they were taught to walk with grace, never race. Tiptoe, tiptoe. Whoa! The puppies were also taught to look pretty and pink, nibble their kibble, and ride in style. Whatever the lesson, Gaston always worked the hardest, practiced the longest, and smiled the biggest. Miss Poodle was very pleased with all of her puppies, Fifi, Fufu, Oulala, and Gaston. Spring arrived, and the proud mother was eager to show off her darlings. She took them to the park for their very first stroll in public. There's much to see, daffodils, ducklings, and dogs. Oh dear, what do we have here? Rocky, Ricky, Bruno, and Antoinette. Would you like to see them again? Rocky, Ricky, Bruno, and Antoinette. This is more than a little awkward. The mothers sized up their puppies. The puppies sized up one another. It seems there's been a terrible mistake, Miss Bulldog said, breaking the silence. Oui, Miss Poodle agreed sadly. Whatever shall we do? Miss Bulldog could not come up with an answer. I guess we'll let them decide, she replied at last. Gaston and Antoinette, who were young, even though they were young, could see that there had been a mix-up. The two puppies began to circle around each other and the group. Gaston walked with grace. Antoinette raced. Gaston yipped. Antoinette yapped. And when they finally came to a stop, the puppies had traded places. There, that looks right. It just didn't feel right. That evening, Antoinette tried to fit in with her new sisters. But she did not like anything precious or pink. Pewee, says Antoinette. On the other side of town, Gaston tried to fit in with his new brothers, but he did not like anything brutish, brawny, or brown. Ick, says Gaston. Antoinette and Gaston were not the only ones who were having a hard time adjusting. The next morning, Miss Poodle forgot all about being proper and raced back to the park. Miss Bulldog was waiting there with her burly broad. It seems we've made a terrible mistake, she nearly shouted. Oui, oui, Miss Poodle agreed happily. This time, Gaston and Antoinette wasted no time trading places. There, that looked right, and it felt right too. From that day forward, the families met in the park every afternoon to play. Rocky, Ricky, Bruno, and Antoinette taught the poodle puppies a thing or two about being tough. Likewise, Fifi, Fufu, Oulala, and Gaston taught the bulldog puppies a thing or two about being tender. And many, many years later, when Gaston and Antoinette fell in love and had puppies of their own, they were taught to be whatever they wanted to be. Yay. Abandoned children.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you. You may go.
Thank you, Rosy and Hannah, for that. What we'd like to do now is acknowledge and welcome those of you who are visiting us this morning. If you are online with us, you are invited to say "Hello" here in the comment section and tell us your name and where you're from. If you are attending in person, please rise or raise your hand so that we may welcome you. Welcome. We will now receive the offering, which today goes to our local Jefferson food banks. If you'd like to donate to this worthy cause, you have a few options. The ushers will now come among you and receive the offering from those of you in person. For those viewing online, just text the amount you'd like to give to the number now showing at the bottom of the screen, or go to our website, QUUF.org, and click on the giving link, or simply mail a check to QUUF. Just remember to put food bank offering in the memo line. We will now gratefully receive an offering as we listen to Aiden Murney play Gnossienne No. 3 by Erik Satie.
Thank you, Aiden. That was beautiful. This morning we have 3 announcements. First, we will be gathering during coffee hour today for any visitors, plus anyone who may be interested in becoming members of our fellowship. Get your coffee or tea and join us at the newcomer table in the fellowship hall right after the service. We'll answer any questions, or we're just glad to say, hey. The committee putting together the Reverend Kate Kinney's re-retirement party on June 18th, because you can never retire too many times, right? Are happy to announce you can now sign up to volunteer. You'll find a shamrock-covered bulletin board for Kate's Irish Tea Party right out there in the foyer near the office. Please check it out and sign up. And now, for an announcement from our Healthy Community team, Martha Moyer will join us.
Good morning. I'd like to invite as many of you who would like to come to an hour-long conversation circle today during our coffee hour, starting around 11:15. We'll give everyone a chance to grab coffee, say hi to friends, and then I'll walk through the hall with a bell so that I don't interrupt any of your good conversations. When you hear the bell, we are ready to start. This is an important opportunity to connect face-to-face to discuss topics important to you right now. A couple of questions will be used as prompts. One related to our excellent sermon topic you can't lose when you're talking about our beloved youth. The second one will be related to topics generally relevant to the QUUF. Please join us today and engage with your QUUF neighbors in creating a better community. Thank you.
We will now share our joys and sorrows, recognizing that our personal joys and sorrows are only a fragment of the joys and sorrows of the larger community of life. And thus, we place this first stone, thinking in particular of, yet again, the need for Americans to write and call our government on the need for gun legislation. We hold all the families who lost loved ones this week in our hearts. And now, within the congregation, please light one candle of joy and one candle of sorrow for the life and death of Irv Mortensen, born August 17, 1947, and died May 4th, 2023. Irv loved the QUF community, and his involvement in both building projects as well as service on many committees and board of trustees. We miss you already, Irv. We place a stone for Penny Ritterbush and her family as they care for Penny's father, Roy, who is in his 90s and is in declining health. We hold you in our hearts. And now, we place a final stone. Holding in our hearts the joys and sorrows I've just shared, but also thinking of such joys and sorrows among us that are unexpressed, but are no less important. I invite you now into a moment of silence.
Good morning, everyone. This service is a powerful anchor point for us as a congregation each year, marking our time with growth of the upcoming generation. For me, it's also an authentic and beautiful bittersweet moment. Joy and pride and hope in our incredible Bridgers as they come into this next stage of their lives, and knowledge that it inherently changes their lives in big ways and frequently hard ways, a wave on the surprising voyage that life is. Thank you for being here today. Bridgers, for slowing down and investing in the importance of this moment and this day. Families, for caring for, championing, and holding dear these wonderful beings. And congregation, for being here to support and celebrate and honor them. From teachers to guides to learners from our Bridgers, from everyone who donates to support this congregation, and from anyone who's had any conversation with any of our Bridgers, you are what makes this all happen. And bridging is so much more than just today. Bridging is that Wendell-Berry clasping together process that we do that during this time of the life of our young people, reassuring both elders and youth that we have each other's backs and that growing older doesn't mean growing alone. This is a celebration, a recognition, and a promise. A promise that Unitarian Universalism, our UUA, and QUUF are here to support you. So excited to be challenged by you, to comfort you, to celebrate you, and to grow with you. This particular trio of Bridgers are collaborators, teammates, culinary artists, musical guides, joke makers, good friends, resilient survivors, learners, and leaders. They are strange and delightful, caring and thoughtful, and most of all, inherently worthy of it all. Together, we cherish you, Aiden, Hannah, and Rosy, for who you are. Thank you for nourishing us and growing with us. Know that this is truly a bridge, and we honor all of your pathways. I now welcome our Bridgers to come forward to share their thoughts, starting with Hannah.
My name is Hannah Brooks, and one day I am going to die. I am completely fine with this. In fact, I have been for the majority of the 6,604 days that I've been alive. For much of this time, I've pondered what it would be like to experience death. Unfortunately, for some of that time, I've actively sought out the experience. Now, though, I feel like I have a fairly healthy relationship with death. I have no idea what it's going to be like to be dead, and that's okay. After all, I'll be dead by the time I find out, so it's really none of my business. But on a more serious note, it has been a real struggle for me to adopt this view. I've gone through many different philosophies about the world. There have been long stretches where I've considered myself an absolute pessimist through and through. As I stand here today, I would describe myself as a very spiteful, stubborn optimist. My general philosophy is, it's going to be okay in the end, because after everything we've gone through, we need it to be okay. The world will turn out fine, even if we have to drag it kicking and screaming the whole way there. This philosophy is just the root of my worldview, which as a whole is far too complicated and confusing, even to me, honestly, to fit into a few minutes of intelligent-sounding speech. So instead, I'll just go through a few of the parts of my life that have heavily shaped it: my transition, my family, and my experience at QUUF. For most of my youth, I've had the unfortunate habit of dreading over every thought I express to the outside world. Often, I can't even keep an idea in my head without obsessively editing it until it is, from my viewpoint, perfect. I have suffered from this habit even while writing this piece. To prevent myself from doing so any further, to draw a hard line in the sand for my brain, the meat of my bridging speech will not be written or scripted in any way aside from the thoughts in my own head. After the end of this sentence, I will be speaking entirely off the top of my head, which is with as little filtering of my true feelings as I can manage. I'll start with my transition. When I was 14 years old, I made the decision and the realization that the person I had lived my life as was not the person I wanted to continue living my life as. And that decision has shaped the way I experience the world these past 4 years in far more ways than I could ever count. And it will continue to do so for the rest of my life. When I started my transition, I had no idea what I was getting into. And in a way, I have to be grateful for Unitarian Universalism for giving me a path and a framework for experiencing life as a trans person. The first time I was out in a public space was at a UU con. The second time I was out in a public space was at a youth service I was a member of. And these experiences have been no small part in how I've grown as a trans person and as a person in general. This isn't to say that it's all, sunshine and rainbows. It is hard and painful and frustrating and terrifying sometimes. That is evident even in the way I started this speech. It is almost impossible to come to terms with being a trans person without coming to terms with death, because it is an unfortunate fact of the culture we live in that being a trans person can be dangerous. This is obviously not ideal, but it does mean that it has made me grow and mature in a very unique way that I am proud of. When I think of queer and trans pride, I don't think of just simply pride of being trans. What I'm proud of is surviving, because there have been times when I didn't think I would. There have been times where I have been scared for my personal safety, for my emotional health, for my friends' lives, all because of the fact that I and so many of the people close to me have made the decision to come out. Next, I will talk about my family. It would be a terrible omission if I were to talk about how I've grown in my transition without mentioning my family. You three, Sam, Mom and Dad, you have been so supportive and accepting, not just of me as a trans person, but as me as a human being. You have done and said so many things that have permanently changed the way I see myself, other people, and the world around me. Dad, you have said many times to me that the meaning of life is to collect good stories. This is often said in jest in response to doing something stupid or getting into, let's just say, a complicated situation. But it really has changed the way I see things. Many people think of success as financial well-being, which is neither achievable nor even desirable for many people. Some think of success as being happy in life, and while that is a good goal, it's simply unrealistic to always be happy. There are times when things are scary, there are times when things are frustrating, but all I want out of life is to look back and say, God, what a ride. Mom, you said to me almost a year ago, during one of the hardest periods of my life, no matter what you're going through, you will still get up and take care of people. This has stuck with me, and there has not been a week that's gone by that I haven't thought of what you said. Things can be scary, and things can seem hopeless sometimes, but all that we need to do is to continue caring for people. Because there's nothing else we can do in this world but care for people. Sam, I was trying to think of a quote that you've said that's permanently shaped my life, but honestly, it would be negligent of me to only say one thing, because it would just sweep away the dozens, possibly hundreds of conversations we've had on walks, in the car, doing yard work, that have permanently changed my worldview and who I see myself as. I don't know if I would be alive without any of you. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be alive without my parents. But even after you finish the whole creating me, you've kept me alive. And you are just home. You are home to me. And I don't know what I would do if I didn't have you. And I know that one day I won't, and that's terrifying to me. But I know that you have prepared me to be a person and to be able to get through that. I love you. The next section is about my experience here at QUUF. And honestly, it's very hard for me to sum up what this place has done, because it's just been so much. I can't express my gratitude for this place and this community, for helping me grow as a person, and for helping to shape my worldview. But it would feel disingenuous to only express gratitude, because as everyone who has been here for any amount of time will tell you, it is a very complicated place with often controversy, often bitterness, and still often love. This place has been instrumental to me growing as a young person. But as with any organization or any individual who works with young people, it is a place that sometimes hurts young people. And this is unavoidable. This is simply the nature of any group that plays a role in helping children grow. Schools are important institutions that sometimes hurt people. Social gatherings are institutions that sometimes hurt people. The nature of existing in a group with other people is that sometimes you will be hurt, and that is okay. Everybody hurts someone, and everybody is hurt by someone. And it's not right to ignore this fact, but it is also not right to make this, to stop this from there is hurt, but you can't let the hurt get in the way of love. And I have been hurt by this place. I'm sure there have been times when things I have done or said have hurt other people in this community, but I truly do love it. Thank you.
Boy, do I have a tough act to follow. That was incredible. And quite frankly, I'm probably not going to be able to surpass it, but that's not really my goal. Our goal is to have something meaningful that we say, something representative of who we are as people. Hello all, I'm Aiden. And to start my part of the service out, I would like to thank all of you for coming here, coming to listen to us talk about life and things related while we are on the precipice of the seemingly infinite realm of adulthood, at least in comparison to what we've lived through thus far. Knowing that the security, guidance, certainty, and structure that comes from things like the school system, with all of its equally infinite flaws, parents, of whom I am lucky to have such fantastic ones, and the other safeties of youth will soon be gone. And with these things gone, it becomes time to face the reality of what it means to truly live in our world and society. To exist with full personal autonomy, or as full as it can get in our world, with all the good that comes with it, the good and the bad. When writing this, knowing where to even begin with this speech was a rather daunting task. I had the idea in my head that my goal was to sum up my nearly 18 years of life with all of the growth, feelings, thoughts, emotions, losses, and successes I've experienced, as well as my future plans, into around 800 words of speaking. And quite frankly, that's a very tricky task. And The important thing is, though, I'm here and I'm speaking, and I said that in the past tense. Related to that, a specific thing Beau mentioned in the guidelines for this speech was to include anything or something at all about my experience with QUUF, UU, or YRUU things, and how it has impacted my life in general. And the funny thing about me is, through the past 11 years that I've attended here, from when I was a very small boy to who I am today, my attendance has, to say the least, waxed and waned, especially in the past 3 years, or really since the pandemic. I've done just about 2 meaningful things here, other than providing childcare occasionally. Those have been the youth service this January and the service we're at right now. And however few I'd like to think the things I've done have been pretty notable, at least. Another thing I've noticed related to UU is the parallel between my attendance here and general upwards trends in my mental health. I believe, unsurprisingly, that coming to QUUF is not the only cause, but part of a larger trend where exposing myself to community, doing more things with my life, and quite frankly, getting out more, come together as a conglomerate culprit for that. And quite frankly, that's a very obvious statement, and I find it really silly that I didn't figure that out earlier. But, you know, here I am, and I'm happy to be here. Coming back here over the past couple of year and month and rekindling my attendance has kind of proved as a sort of nostalgic activity, a glimpse into simpler times where the world was a lot easier and a lot less thought-provoking. It brings back some serious good memories from when I was about this tall with much shorter hair. Memories of just the simple going about of life here. I could have a whole service talking about things from my past that I've enjoyed here. So I'll leave it to just a single one. That being the many times, depending on the year, that I've either been singing out the children or been the children being sung to. I can remember back when I was small enough to do it, and even when I did it for my sister. To transition to a dramatically different topic, thematically at least, not really different in the context of the whole speech, but as I was writing this, I had an absolute mess of ideas in my head. So many topics and ideas that I wanted to talk about. And quite frankly, a lot of them I came to the conclusion to not include, because I find that for most of them, they're too complex of topics for me to actually sum up here. And I came to the choice to just lean on the idea of uncertainty, saying that I'm not sure. The simple fact that I can't really have the answers to most things, and that no human really can, and that most answers for some things never will exist. There will be parts of anything and everything that are unclear. And just as everything else, adulthood, which is the purpose of this service really, has too many uncertainties to count. And that's just including things within your control based off of choices that you can make. Coming back to my originally stated goal, the idea of summing up my 18 years of life into 800 words. Even, at least in the scripted part that I wrote, I didn't succeed in that goal. I got close to the word count for whatever that matters, but the real goal of doing that I didn't do. But that's okay, of course. I succeeded in many other ways, and I think, perchance hope, I managed to come out here and give what I think is an interesting and coherent speech. I tangented and rambled, and I didn't really give a history of myself and why I am the way I am. But there are reasons, I promise. But yeah, it doesn't matter. I've been able to enjoy this service and be with people, and it's great. Thank you all. For our special music, I'm going to be playing another song by the same composer of the one I did earlier. This will be Gnossienne number 1 by Erik Satie. Thank you again.
For many years of my life, every Sunday, I ran under the interlocked fingers of many people inside this room. A few months ago, I happened to be sitting on the inside aisle and sung the children away, forming an arch with my own arms. What a funny feeling it is to grow up. As these seasons of life have faded into each other, I've grown into the person I am today. And I feel extremely lucky to have lived these first 18 years of my life with the people in this room, who have guided me with compassion, provoked my curiosity, and supported me unwaveringly. I'm so thankful to have grown up in such a loving community with such a perfect family. I'd especially like to thank my preschool teacher, Kathy, who's always offered me a warm hug and a familiar smile. You've been more impactful on my life than I can even describe. I'd like to thank my mom and dad for how hard and diligently they've worked to support my siblings and I. It doesn't go unnoticed. I feel so lucky to be the product of such compassionate, kind, and strong people. I'd also like to thank my Yaya and Wilson for always pushing me to be my best and seeing my potential, and for being some of the smartest, funniest people I know. Alongside with this, I'd like to say how thankful I am for Cosmo and Izzy. Not only are you my siblings, but my best friends, and the people in this world that know me better than anyone else. I love you unconditionally and admire both of you more than I can even describe. You helped me learn my first skills on the violin and my first chords on the guitar, brought my imagination to life in our backyard renditions of Avatar: The Last Airbender. But most of all, you always had my back and were there for me no matter what. Oh my gosh, I tried to write this in a public library and it was, couldn't do it. In many ways, my grandma was one of the most influential people who have ever touched my life. I miss my grandma. I miss the way she smelled and the way she spoke. I miss watching her put rollers in her hair every morning, no matter on what she was planning on doing with that day. I miss her feeding my dogs ice cream so they didn't feel left out of dessert. I miss praying with her before bed and the sparkle she always had in her eyes. Luckily enough, a woman so radiant isn't easy to forget. My grandma Pat passed away 4 years ago, but in my mind, she's just as she is in every last photo I have of her. She possesses unfiltered laughter, she values kindness and tucks it in her pockets, awaiting the day ahead of her. I feel that I really know her through the stories narrated over my kitchen table, woven between my mother's words and in the sweet smell of cinnamon rolls. Most of all, I think of Pat every time I say I love you, because every day she said, "Have I told you today how much I love you?" Multiple times. The little ways that people leave a mark on your life are so extraordinary. Because of my grandma Pat, I say I love you a lot more often. I hold my friends a little closer because my yayas had the same best friend for nearly 70 years. I love the way my pointer fingers turn in because they match my mom, and I think it's really sweet. I love my blue eyes because I share the same shade of them with my dad. I love the lines on my fingers after I play music because I always thought they looked really cool on my siblings. I wear vanilla perfume because my mom always dots vanilla extract on my wrists while we're baking and says I smell like a cookie. I keep all my handwritten notes in a box because of mystery pals, and I look through them every once in a while, and they always make me cry. I take more pictures because my friend Sophia never let a moment go undocumented. And I hold my breath under a highway tunnel because my friend Lily does it, and it always makes me laugh. For our young lives, we're asked a lot to say how we see ourselves in the future. And I see myself just as I am today, the product of the love and compassion of the people around me. I hope I still remember that we're never really alone because a part of us is in those around us, and we carry little things about each other around with us every day. In my future, I want to be just as loving, compassionate, kind, loyal to a fault, grateful, and true to myself. But because of Pat, I know I'll never forget to say I love you. So I'll say it one more time for good measure. I love you. Thank you.
this is the circle game by Joni Mitchell. So all of you sing along with me. Yesterday, a child came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar. Fearful when the sky is full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. Then the child moved 10 times round the seasons, skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like "when you're older" must appease him, and promises of someday make his dream. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. 16 springs, 16 summers gone now. Cartwheels turn to car wheels through the town, and they tell him, take your time, it won't be long now. Here you drag your feet too slow, gonna circle down. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. So the years spin by, now the boy is 20. Though his dreams have lost some grandeur coming true, there'll be new dreams, maybe better dreams, plenty, before the last revolving year is through. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. And go round and round and round in the circle game.
It is my privilege and pleasure, on behalf of the congregation, to present each of you with a chalice as a token of our love and care for you, and wish that your future life be rich and rewarding. I'm going to invite you. You look so nervous. So now I invite you forward to get your chalice and your new adult badges. You will also receive a bag with gifts and letters from the congregation. So if you have any letters for them, they're in the foyer bags. Put them in now, or after the service. We are so blessed by your presence and are collectively honored to celebrate you today. I will now light your chalices and then offer you a blessing. And now receive this blessing. May the flame of your chalice always represent for you a renewal of your faith in holiness, goodness, and beauty in life. May it always be for you a reaffirmation of the way of the open mind and the full heart. And may this flame always recall for you the deep wish of this congregation that your life may be filled to overflowing with love and joy. Amen, and so may it be. And now please join in with our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish our flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Next week will be our coming of age ceremony, and I highly recommend that you come to that as well. And our postlude today is our personal favorite, Blue Boat Home. Please rise in body or spirit.
On these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my drive and heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbored nor port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun my sail and moon my rudder, as I ply the starry seas, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep.
upon the fathoms, never harbored or court have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue